So they went to the top floor. Oh! Crack one up top. Going. Right now, I just need to make noise. Because there's multiple teams. The name of the game is don't get hit. Get tutorial real quick. The grenade tutorial listy poo. I probably shouldn't have pushed that, but I was really excited for it. All right, I'll show you actually. So if I do this, right? If I throw a grenade on the ground and I eat this damage, I'll take 75, right? Why does this always happen to me? Why does this always happen to me? Why is it that every time? Didn't this happen with the fucking Valkyrie? Didn't this happen? Bro, like, you can't make this shit up. So now that I can actually talk about grenades because my PC's not going to explode, let me get into the tutorial. So as far as the grenade tier list, right? Pretty much every grenade has the ability to be S tier, right? Like an arc star is S tier, a grenade is S tier, and a thermite is S tier in different situations. I think for the most part, what you should be prioritizing is arc stars and frag grenades, and thermites last. And the reason why is thermites are really good, more so in my opinion over competitive, because in competitive, as the zone gets smaller, there's going to be a lot of teams. You'll find teams, let's say the zone is like right here behind me, and like, you know, it kind of like arches and it's like right here. You'll have teams crouched in a corner, right? So when you throw a thermite, the thermite is going to give you like this indication where, like, let's say I'm a team on, you know, some type of high ground, or like right here, I would just throw the thermite like right here, right? And if you look, they're just all going to burn. So it's one of those things of like, thermites are really good in that scenario if people are pinched, but more so thermites are used in, I would say, higher tier competitive as the zone closes. So in lower tiers or in pubs, stick to frag grenades and arc stars. Now, arc stars are kind of in this self-explanatory grenade. I'm going to just go over a couple cool things about arc stars for this video. So that way it's kind of, I want to go over all the bases, right? So for those that don't know, I'm going to go back into this. Hopefully I don't crash. Arc stars do as much damage as whatever armor you're wearing for a minimum of 75 damage without getting stuck. So if I throw the arc star on the ground, I will take 75 damage to the chest piece right there. Got a little numbers right there. But the same thing, if I have a purple armor, I'll take 100 damage instead. And then for red armor, I'll take 125 damage respectively. Now the range of this is, like, I would say arc star has a pretty solid range. So arc stars are super good, especially in late game, because if people have, like, let's say 3 people have 125 armor or red armor on all 3 people, you just knock out all, knocking out all their armors is just huge in general. Now, for my favorite, my personal favorite is frag grenades. Now, frag grenades, they do a maximum of 100 damage. The thing about frag grenades that not a lot of people, and I would say lower tiers do, and even higher tiers, I sometimes see a lot of people do it. I always cook my grenade, right? And I call it like Skynades, is kind of like what I've called it. It's just Skynades. So what I see a lot of people doing is when they get into like a team fight and they're shooting people and whatnot, they see a person and immediately they throw their nade like this, right? Now, what that does is you may get that person, right? Like, let's say even here, right? Like, let's say we'll take that same scenario that I mentioned to you where I'll throw a grenade like in the pocket, right? A lot of teams, what they end up doing, they'll just run into the zone, they'll take a tick of storm, and then they'll come back, right? So they won't really take that nade. However, if they're all right here, I'm going to cook the grenade up like this. I'm going to throw it, and it should land right here. So close, right? So what you do is you're finding out the right angles. So it's just cooking the grenade and figuring out the right spot. So that was a sweet spot, right? That would have done 300 damage. Now, the reason you cook the nade is for one important reason, is they don't have any time to react. So frag grenades are one of those nades where they also can knock your opponents off of height. So if they're on height, you throw your frag grenade and it hits them, sometimes they'll bounce off. Sometimes they'll just like, you've seen it probably in some clips and whatnot, but they can't react to it, right? They don't move left, they don't move right, they just eat the nade, right? They just eat the nade, and that's 300 damage. So like if I'm sitting right here and I don't, like, you don't hear the nade come up, you don't hear it fall on the ground, the second you're like, it's falling on top of your face, you can't move, you can't do anything, you just take it, right? So frag grenades, in my opinion, are super, super, super important. Now, one thing I want to say is like how to practice this is just put yourself in ranges of like the dummies, right? Like that dummy's right there. If that was a team, I'm just gonna like kind of cook it. I think that's the right angle. I think that's the right angle. So I'm a little far, right? So I just do this, throw it like that. I think that's good. Right there, right? So you kind of just keep practice the nades and like the different ranges of where you think people are. Like that guy, like way over there, right? Like, I think that's perfect actually. Oh, little short or a little far. Frag out. So you pretty much throw nades like this and you just keep practicing. So you see what I mean? Like, you know, getting that in the second nade, like if I did this, like double nade, 31, 15, right? Like if there was 3 people there, they're just going to eat a lot. You know, that puts the potential to do a lot of damage. But you keep just keep practicing and learning the trajectory of when you throw your frag grenades. And that's the best tip that I can give you in terms of frag grenades. Now, arc stars are very difficult because arc stars is one of those things where like people are always like, how do you stick arc stars? How do you stick arc stars? There's a little like weird, I don't know if it's a bug or what, right? But arc stars, you want to stand still. You want to stand perfectly still, usually when you throw your arc stars. And the reason why is because it gives you like a little indicator, right? This indicator is really important. It's how I stick a lot of my arc stars. But usually what happens is like, let's say they're in a building and you'll see me, I'm like, I think he's going to be like right here, right? Now, what happens is I'm going to show you a prime example of what happens. I'm going to move forward when I throw my arc star and it's probably not going to stick, right? Like I'm like, oh, I think he's right here. It goes above his head, right? When you saw the indicator was right on his body. So what you do is you basically wait, throw it, then move. So a lot of people, they get in this habit of like, of moving before they throw it. And you can do that, but just make sure you compensate for it. So if I'm about to stick him right here, I'm going to aim a little bit down. I'm going to aim just a little bit down before it releases. Now, on top of that, what you want to do is you can really kind of like get a little, you know, wacky with it and start throwing arc stars like practice putting yourself in like weird situations, like where you're like having a quick react like that. You know what I mean? Like use the jump pad to make yourself like, you know what I mean? So you have the fire range at your full disposal. Not only that, you can actually activate the bots. So if you really wanted to have fun with it, what you could do, fuck.
Sorry, we all need a break, huh?
Here I come, back from the sky.
Whoa, what a rush!
All right. So what you do here is now that I've activated the bots, now the bots will move. This is going to be a little bit better for arc star sticking because you're going to have targets that are going to be moving. So what you do is you pretty much just grab a full inventory of nades, frag grenades, and then you go for the practice. So Dollar's gonna eat that. That's crazy. So right there, that's like. And you can just do this. So basically, you can practice. Now, when you're practicing against the dummies and you end up killing the dummies, you can press M or the character select, switch, and then switch back. And that will full heal your character. All right. So again, you kind of get my point of practicing and cooking your nades and things like that. So basically, you can activate the bots and then you can start start practicing your arc star sticks like that. That's just going to be something that, you can definitely try.